Thank you for spending some time with us on THV 11. I'm Karen Fuller. We hope you've enjoyed your day so far. And now let's go to meteorologist Simone Thomas. We saw a lot of fog and dreary weather this morning, Simone, on the morning show. What can we expect for the rest of the day?
Yeah, that fog advisory actually got extended to 11, and then at 11 it was allowed to expire by the National Weather Service. But now we're shifting our attention for the potential for some strong severe thunderstorms that is approaching the state as we continue through the afternoon. Already we've got a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for Little River, Miller, and Lafayette counties in southwest Arkansas. That's through 7 o'clock. It'll likely be a few more hours before we see any watches, if any, issued for central Arkansas, but most of that rain still off to our west, impacting Oklahoma and Texas. As we continue through the evening, as early as 3 o'clock, we can start to see some showers in central Arkansas, more of that rain expanding into west central Arkansas and eventually central Arkansas through the evening. We might get as high as 60 degrees before we see, of course, a cool down with that rain picking up, and then, of course, after sunset. But right now, here is the potential for severe weather. It's going to be highest across southern Arkansas from Pine Bluff to Arkadelphia and locations south of that, but central Arkansas, north central Arkansas under that level 1 out of 5 marginal risk. We'll talk more about the impacts and the timing coming up in that 7-day outlook, so make sure you stick around.
All right, Simone, thank you. Right now, Arkansas State Police are piecing together details on the minutes leading up to a shooting of a woman by a police officer on Christmas Eve in front of a small-town church. Authorities say the woman had been causing a disturbance and holding a gun outside the Hughes Church of God on Main Street in Hughes in St. Francis County. It's not yet clear what happened in the minutes between when police arrived and when an officer fired his gun, killing 26-year-old Allie Kundert. THV 11 is working to find out if body camera footage exists to show what took place. State police are not naming the officer involved for now. The case will be sent to prosecutors to determine whether the use of force was justified. This same police department, by the way, had been shut down last April by a state agency for failing to comply with Arkansas law enforcement standards. The state did not reveal which standards had been violated, and then the mayor reinstated the police department a month later while laying out his plan to fix the apparent issues. An arrest is made in a different shooting, this one in North Little Rock. It happened on Christmas Eve, too, leaving one man dead in the early morning hours. Police say they have arrested Robert Sanders III last night. He's accused in the shooting death of LaCaryn Herod. Sanders is being held at the Pulaski County Detention Center, facing 1 count of first-degree murder and possession of firearms. The shooting happened just after sunrise Tuesday. Police responding to the home on Maple Street, where they found Herod shot. He was later pronounced dead at the scene. Sanders is being held without bond. To national news now, where President-elect Trump is focusing his most recent rhetoric on international affairs, including several social media posts on Christmas Day. Katrina Kaufman reports from Washington, D.C.
President-elect Donald Trump spent part of his holiday posting on social media about possible U.S. global expansion. Trump's Christmas Day post included claims that China is illegally operating the Panama Canal, Canada should become America's 51st state, and the U.S. needs Greenland for national security purposes. In Panama, demonstrators outside the U.S. Embassy on Christmas Eve lit fire to a poster showing Trump. They're protesting Trump's suggestion last weekend that the U.S. could once again take control of the canal.
Aquí hay un canal, es panameño.
This man said, "The canal here is Panamanian. Donald Trump, with his imperial delusions, cannot claim a single inch of land in Panama."
We're being ripped off at the Panama Canal.
Trump says the U.S. built the canal and is the largest user of it. He is demanding cheaper access to the waterway as a result.
They haven't treated us fairly. If the principles, both moral and legal, of this magnanimous gesture of giving are not followed, then we will demand that the Panama Canal be returned to the United States of America.
On Christmas Day, he announced Miami-Dade County Commissioner Kevin Marino Cabrera as his pick to be ambassador to Panama. Katrina Kaufman, CBS News, Washington.
Here at home, a chase between a wanted suspect and state police turned deadly after the driver crashed off the road. State police say the suspect gave troopers some false information during a stop, and at some point the driver took off with police following behind. Troopers ultimately used a pit maneuver to try and stop the car. Authorities say the suspect died after steering off the road and crashing into a tree. Arkansas State Police Colonel Mike Hagar spoke about the serious consequences when drivers choose to try and outrun authorities. In a statement, Hagar says, quote, "Although we regret any loss of life, ASP troopers will always put the lives of innocent motorists first." A THV 11 update now. Some local Starbucks workers are back on the job following a Christmas Eve strike. Workers are still calling for changes, though the 5-day strike at union locations across the country has now ended. Several employees from the Starbucks on Alcoa Road in Benton joining the strike Tuesday, along with some 5,000 others nationwide. Starbucks Workers United represents more than 11,000 employees. They are demanding fair wages, a safe work environment, and guaranteed hours to meet their basic living expenses. One local barista tells us they hope customers will support their efforts.
Even if they don't believe in us or believe what we're working for, and they see us struggling, see us out here fighting for what we believe in, they know it's right.
Workers at 6 Starbucks locations in Arkansas are members of the union. There are 2 in Fayetteville, one on JFK and North Little Rock, another on Rodney Parham and Little Rock, and of course the Benton location as well. This time of year can be especially stressful for Arkansas animal shelters. Staff and volunteers are accustomed to seeing animals coming and going all year long, but say the holidays can stretch their resources thin and that families may mean well with an adoption but haven't quite considered the responsibility of owning a pet. Parker Abels has more.
Big Paws at the Ozarks in Fayetteville got some unexpected visitors this holiday season.
4 mothers that have all had litters of puppies. We delivered 2 litters of puppies in rescue back to back, and then we saved 2 more moms that were both in very dangerous situations. One delivered all of her puppies under a hay bale on somebody's property. The other was in a pretty dangerous situation, and so we were able to get them out.
Because they weren't expecting all these new pups, they had to get to work right away to house them for the holidays.
We gathered up our resources, we called every single foster home that we had on our list, and luckily we were able to make some miracles happen and were able to bring in all 4 moms and rescue all 35 puppies this year.
And Kayla Mays calls on the community to continue to help and support these dogs.
We really need the help of our community to continue with fostering efforts, to come in and adopt these puppies when they're old enough to be adopted, and if they can financially support as well is always helpful.
However, before you adopt, Mays asks that you make sure you understand the responsibility of your adoption.
We have a lot of folks that try to come and get last-minute Christmas puppies. It's something that we don't necessarily encourage. We like for folks to really try to think through what it means bringing a puppy into your home. As a matter of fact, we had someone show up at the door this morning to return a puppy they got on Saturday as a gift because the mom didn't want the puppy.
And that everyone does their research on just how many dogs we have in the community without a home.
I really encourage everybody to stop and think about all of the animals that we have in our community that do need homes. You can find almost any breed of dog in rescue at this point, and it's truly astounding how many purebred dogs we're also getting in here